Good evening, everyone. Thank you so very much for attending tonight's presentation of Tall Tales, an information session with Cheryl Baker of District 29. As a reminder to you all, this session is being recorded for those who could not attend tonight or for your viewing pleasure at a later time. Would you kindly go on mute to avoid any interruptions that may impact our speaker as well as our audience members? Let me tell you about Cheryl. Cheryl Baker is a two-time DTM, or as I like to call it, a DTM squared. She has both a DTM from the traditional curriculum as well as from Pathways. She's been a Toastmaster for over 28 years, and she's been in Toastmasters clubs every place she's lived, including, and let me reference my notes because I don't want to leave any location out, California, Nevada, Virginia, Great Britain, and Chile. That is absolutely impressive. Cheryl has competed not only in Tall Tales, but in all 5 of the contest formats multiple times over. And she comes to us tonight as a resident expert in Tall Tales, giving us some best practices, what to look out for in ways that may encourage winning strategies. She trains at TLIs in districts 115, 29, and 36 on a regular basis. Her home district is District 29, where she's the Education and Training Coordinator. Would you please help me to welcome Cheryl Baker?
Hello, everybody. So glad to be here. And I hope you're in for some work today. I know, Toastmasters, we got to get some stuff done. And you're going to need to stretch your brain because this is Tall Tales. And Tall Tales is not normal. It's not real. And it's pretty much a big lie. So we'll see how big of a liar you are. And we'll see if you've got some brains left after your day in your regular world to try that. So we're going to grow a tall tale, or how to be reasonably unreasonable. So a definition of a tall tale is a tall tale must be of highly exaggerated, improbable nature and have a theme or a plot. So it can't just be a bunch of funny stuff thrown together. It has to stick together. Humor and props may be used to support or illustrate the speech. They don't have to be there, but if you want to win, you want them there. And the time, which is also the crazy part, is 3 to 5 minutes. So it's longer than an evaluation. It's longer than table topics, but it's shorter than most other speeches that you give. And that, my friends, is the problem with tall tales, because the best tall tales are 5 to 7 minutes. And if you go 5 to 7, you're not winning the contest. So here's what the ballot looks like. You kind of have the speech development, which content is 30, speech techniques, physical appearance, body language, voice is all 55. That's really important. 55 points is all about that. And appropriateness is only 15. If you use a strange grammar that comes from a place that is from down under or from somewhere in the bayou or in the Catskills or someplace else that they don't use proper grammar, you can get away with that in Tall Tales because it goes with your character. So if you were able to say 8 sometime, not in a regular speech, but in Tall Tales, you could get away with it and it would still be appropriate. Now, these are the descriptions of that from the back of the ballot, and you can basically see that for yourself. It's a way that the speaker puts ideas together so the audience can understand them. But here's the big clicker. A good tall tale speech immediately engages the audience. Oh, wait, just like a humorous speech. You've got to get them laughing or having some sort of a groaner, something in the first 15 to 30 seconds. And then smoothly build up to a climax and conclusion. There are speech techniques that you need to do. This part makes it a tall tale. You're using exaggeration, irony, pun, humor, surprise twists, and they should be skillfully incorporated into the tale. We'll talk about that more later. Physical, if you have a small space on a Zoom screen, are you guys doing your contest in person or online?
It either has to be hybrid or online, so we will have an online component.
Okay, so it might be hybrid, we don't know.
Yes, at the area, division, and district levels, the clubs have the autonomy to have whatever format they choose.
Okay, in our district, we decided that we're just going to do it online as we've done during COVID. So that's just it. But when we get to district, I think because if we have anybody out of the country, we might have to make it hybrid. So we haven't made that decision yet, but we don't do tall tales. So there you go. Physicalness, we're going to talk about that some more. You really want to be able to show your body. So right now I am too close to my screen. If I scoot back a little bit, then you can see all of my arms, and you still can't get the entire spread of my arms because I've got a lot of extra inches here. So you need to make sure that your body is able to be seen, because this is part of what we do in tall tales. And then your voice, and we're going to talk about that. You want to make sure that your voice is interesting to listen to, and it makes sure that we can understand every word that you say. And of course, appropriateness. In my districts, in District 115, which used to be District 33, we didn't really like potty humor in any speech. You know what I'm talking about. Bathrooms, poopy diapers, all that other stuff was not really appropriate. And you got marked down for it. I don't know how it goes with your district, but be careful. If you think it's iffy, don't do it. All right, so a good tall tale includes good organization. It needs a good body, an opening of body, and a climax, as well as a conclusion with a twist. It can't just be, or it could be, but it's kind of boring. And I woke up. That's not enough of a twist. It is a twist, but it's so obvious that nobody will laugh. So you want to make it something that people will laugh about. And the opening, again, must engage audience immediately. So here are some of the speech techniques that you want to pay close attention. Everything, I mean everything, should be an exaggeration. I always think about, okay, if I started off with a regular plain old story, I went to the grocery store to get some groceries for my household, and I brought them home. That's a normal everyday story everybody does. So if I was going to exaggerate, not only did I drive a Lamborghini, which I don't own because I'm a teacher, but then I also drove at 500 miles per hour because I only had 5 minutes to do the shopping. That's an exaggeration. It's possible, but not probable. So that's the two words, possible, but not probable. Because if you get too far out there, they're like, oh, well, that would never, ever happen. And people will kind of, their brain goes, wait a minute. I don't think that would happen ever. Irony, that's really good to put into these speeches, like clear as mud. There's a singer that goes, isn't that ironic? And so even though most of the things she talks about are really not that ironic, puns are really good. If you're a punster, this is the perfect place for you to do that. And of course, humor, things that are surprising. And again, I just saw somebody, one of our famous speakers that have won the international contest, he said, don't add humor, find it. And I think that's a really great idea. I've just learned that just this last week. And then the surprise twist, something that you can't see coming. You don't do a thing called foreshadow, as in nobody has an idea that it's coming at all. That's a surprise twist. And you want people to go, oh, ha, 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 ha. And then you know you've created a surprise twist. If you are online, like our district, they don't even let you see the people's faces. So you can't even tell that people are laughing, which is really, really sad. But if you are in person, then you will obviously hear them, and that's always a good, you should practice in front of people that actually will laugh and you can hear them. That would be good. Your appearance can also reinforce your speech. You probably will want to have some sort of a costume. I've seen people dress like little kids. I saw somebody dress like a medieval page one time, including the wig and the tights, and he was a man. I've seen people wear makeup that is not a normal person's makeup. Maybe you'll make yourself look very old. Maybe you make yourself look like a cat. Maybe you'll get very creative and put, you'll look like a zombie or something, who knows? And then something with props. There's always good to add for humor, any kind of prop. I have one Tall Tales speech I saw, and I don't know if y'all are old enough. You look like some of those who have your videos on. You might be old enough. Do you remember those old, it used to be a piece of wire and it looked like a dog leash and there was just an empty thing on the bottom? Remember? And she brought one of those. That was her prop. And she was talking about this invisible dog that she had. That was a perfect one for a tall tale. And then she'd make it sit and it would be up and then it would be down. And then, she just had a great time with it. So it was a great way. Props are also really helpful if you can use them in more than one way. For example, you might use a stool to sit on at some point, and then use the same stool as a walker to show that you're an old person and you have to use a walker. That was a good way to use the same thing in more than one way. Body language is extremely important in tall tales. You need to have some gestures that show what you're talking about, that are not just, I am telling a story and I am directing every word. That will not fly in tall tales. You've got to make it be interesting. Your face has to get livened up. It has to, your eyebrows need to go up. You need to smile. You need to frown. You need to grimace. Whatever you need to do, that face has got to get woken up and just ready to go. And then your body position. Maybe you're down here because you're sneaking in. Maybe you're way far back going, I don't know what you're doing. Or maybe you're even just standing up and showing a part of the body that people would rather not see. I don't know, but that might be funny in a tall tale. Whatever things you can do to create this lovely little box into something different, that is a great, great idea. Now, using your vocal variety. I'm very good at vocal variety because I teach elementary students, and so I'm always talking like this all the time. But some of you may talk to adults all the time and they don't really appreciate having a really interesting vocal variety. But if you imagine yourself reading a book to a child, doing all the voices and making as interesting as possible, that's the vocal variety you need for a tall tale. It needs to be enthusiastic, and you need to vary your pitch, how high you speak and how low you speak. You want to speak fast if you want to get people excited about what's happening, or if something terrible is happening, you're running away from some horrible monster or something. Or you want to slow down, something sad happens, like, and then your dog drowned in the well of tears, and make people really cry while you're going, because even that would make people laugh in a tall tale speech. And the last thing is volume. Now, if you're in a room, a big room, such as a ballroom, which many division and district contests are in, you want to find out how loud should you be and how to make your voice carry throughout the room, and how soft can you be so that they'll still hear you and understand. There's a thing we call in the theater called a stage whisper. And what you do is you be quieter and slower and really enunciate all your words. And people get it. And that's a way to change your volume, especially if you're doing an aside. Well, I'm telling you what, it was like really this. Or you want to, lean into the screen. I always do that, and it's really fun. So there you go. So vocal variety. Now, Again, I told you about it, use it more than one time, and then put it away. Find a way to get rid of it. And you're going to see that in just a minute, because I'm going to show you my best tall tale that I ever wrote, and the one that I got the highest award on, which was not district winning yet, but one of these days it will happen for me. I know it will. So don't use too many props. We've tried that before in some of our humorous speeches, and people just go, really? You didn't need a whole suitcase to bring all that stuff to this contest. And then again, use it in multiple ways. So how are you going to reveal it? How are you going to get rid of it? And you'll see what I do with mine. So I'm going to let you do that. And look, it's time, ready to go. Now, I believe I have enhanced the video and shared my sound. So give me a thumbs up or use the reactions to say, yes, I can hear you, Miss Baker. And that will be good. So this is called Strip Trip. And it was performed in Las Vegas in District 33 when it was District 33. Now it's 115. And I laugh at myself every single time I watch this. I just can't believe it's so funny. So I hope you will too. I'm also going to, once it gets started, I'm going to put on the closed captions because some of it goes a little fast and you might miss some of it. So what I want you to be looking for, did I use a costume? Did I use props? How did I get rid of them? Where did I find them? Did I use vocal variety in such a way that made it really exciting? Anything else you can think of? Did I use any of those exaggeration or puns or alliteration? We used to have a little competition on how many words you could put into a sentence that start with the same letter, like Betty's bitter balls of bologna. And then we would try and get 5 or 6 or 7 words, and that was fun. I don't know if that I do that in this speech, but we'll see how it goes. So are you ready? Here we go.
Cheryl Baker, strip, trip. Strip, trip, Cheryl Baker.
And stormy night. No, wait, it was a bright and sunny day. Well, if you really want to know the truth about the matter, it was a cold and rainy day in the middle of January in Las Vegas. But Mr. Toastmaster, fellow storm chasers, I had made a New Year's resolution to walk every day. Now, in Las Vegas, one does not go for a walk when it's raining, especially when it's raining heavily. It's not safe. You could be washed away. And yet, my resolution. I decided I didn't care if it was raining cats and dogs, I was going to go for my walk. I got on my gear and I headed out the door. No sooner had I taken my first step off the curb when I felt my feet fly out from underneath me and I fell plop right into a puddle. I tried to get up, but I couldn't, and to my horror, I felt myself being carried down the street and picking up speed. I started grabbing at things whizzing by, street signs, lampposts, stray dogs and cats. Nothing would stop my path. I got dumped right into the Las Vegas wash, and I thought, oh no, I'm in trouble now. I realized at that point that the dog and the cat were not helping my buoyancy any, so I let them go. A door floated by, and I scrambled aboard. Overhead, I heard a helicopter. And I waved my arms frantically to get their attention. But all I heard was Celine Dion singing, "My heart will go on." No, this is not happening. I was finally dumped right out into this strip, down through Caesar's Palace, and through the Forum Shop. And then I heard him. I saw. Dun, 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 dun. Shark fins! From the Mandalay Bay, the sharks has gotten loose. In fact, one of those sharks popped his head over my door and said, "Hello, love, would you care for a game of poker?" To which I replied, "I don't play poker." Hey, he says, "That's okay, love, you can learn as you go." Now, you know this shark was not just any normal kind of shark. No, he was a card shark. From the high limit room. I cried, I don't have any more money. I'm just a musician. Needless to say, they were pretty steamed, as were the clams. They were heavy for dinner. They called for reinforcements from the Mirage, the white tigers. One tiger who drives up in his big black limousine. He opens the door, and he said, "Get in," which I did. Now the tiger, whose name was Don the Tooth, says to me, "Hey, we're gonna take you for a ride." And we headed down the strip. Suddenly the Don turns to me and he says, "Hey, do not you sleep with the fishes." And he pushed me out the door, right into the arms of a gondolier singing, "Oh, sole bambino, ciao, ciao, bambino, rebounds for you, sarà, sarà." Hey, what's the matter for you? You want to ride or what? You try to reply, "Please, sir, just take me away from the Don. I just want to go home." And in my best Star Trek-y voice, I said, "Beam me up, Scotty." At that point, I heard a crack over my head. And an ethereal voice that said, "She's breaking up, Captain. I don't know if I can hold her together." At that moment, I felt myself being transported up into a shuttle from the Star Trek experience. "Scotty, beam me home. I just want to go home." "No problem, lassie. Just give me your coordinates. I'll send you right home." Oh, a few moments later, I felt myself being beamed right to my front door. Oh, I was glad to be back in my own front door. Viva Las Vegas! Oh, this experience has got me all shook up. Oh, yeah, I'm all shook up. Oh, thank you very much.
Okay. It still cracks me up. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was really funny. And I love the people who are laughing behind there. That was a division contest. The good and the bad part about that speech was when I went to district, I was in a different state. And these jokes were not very funny to the people in California. And so they looked at me and said, "Why are you being funny about that? I don't get that." And then when I pulled out my dog and my cat, my other prop went to the floor, and I was like, oh, and I forgot to tell you that the Toastmaster said strip tip instead of strip trip. And then I was like, I don't know how I'm going to fix that in 5 seconds walking up to the stage. So anyway, got third place at district, but I was first place at division. Yay! It was really fun. So thank you. All right, so now we're going to deconstruct this. What did you see? I need to hear from you. You can turn on your video. You can raise your hand. I'll call on you. I can see everybody. It's in the room. You're welcome to, and I have somebody on the phone. So if you want to jump in, we'll try not to talk over you. What did you see? What did you notice of all those things? Vocal variety, props, different speech things that we were talking about, exaggeration and things of that sort. What did you see? What was working? Arthur, tell us.
You implemented many of the suggested characteristics or options there. The one thing that I had trouble keeping up with was the pace. It seemed to come out almost all the time at a very rapid pace. And thus, even though I didn't have too much trouble digesting the Las Vegas specific humor, there were a couple of times when I was trying to play catch up in my mind because the speaking pace was quite rapid. It was funny though.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things. When you get excited about something, you just keep going, and unfortunately you don't remember to breathe. So that's one of always my things that people talk to me about. All right, who else heard any of the things that should be in a tall tale? Mark.
I remember I remove my hand. I can't do that down. Yeah, so I think one of the things that I noticed was just talk about the vocal variety. I loved all of the beam me up, Scotty. I mean, like, I just loved how you were able to weave in a lot of familiar faces and also do it with vocal variety. There was definitely inherent humor. So I thought I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So one of my gifts is to be able to do a different kinds of accents. So that's a kind of part of my things that I do well. So I said, well, let's see if I can, how many accents can I do in 3 to 5 minutes? That might be fun. It was kind of a chore to see if we could do that or not. It was kind of a challenge. All right. What else did you see? What else did you hear? Juanita?
Yes, I thought it was so funny. And you did a great job of how you got rid of the props. Like when you threw the animal out of how you brought them in because you had them in your pocket, and then how you threw them away when they were slowing down your flowing. It was helping you. So I think that was really good. I just have a question. How long did it take you to write that?
Well, this is a weird thing because I sat down to write it. I'd been watching Tall Tales for years, going, oh my God, I don't know how to do this. This is just crazy. I got the idea. I sat down and wrote most of it in 30 minutes. But it was just like a brain dump. But I also used some things from Las Vegas, like there is a Las Vegas wash that falls into the Caesar's Palace and down through the Forum Shops. So it was like, oh, okay. And I kind of, in my mind, took that journey flowing down onto the Strip and the things that were down at the Strip at that time. For example, the Celine Dion, she was performing down there at one of the casinos at that time, and she took a helicopter to her hotel every night. So that was like, everybody at that time knew about that. So that was partly what was funny. So it just really flowed through. I mean, I did work on it in between the times. So, there was a lot of little bitty tweaks, but most of it came together in about 30 minutes. It was pretty crazy. Meg.
Yes, it
Thank
was
you.
a wonderful speech, very funny. What I thought was ironic to me is you wearing a rain slicker, but then you took us on this tour of the Strip. Anyone who knows Vegas, I don't know what's wrong with those people in California, gets all of your jokes. But at first, you looked like you were going to go into a Gorton's Fisherman commercial type story. I really enjoyed that. And you showed that you don't have to go too crazy with dress to have a little theme, doing double duty to your point, because you had all your props in your pocket. Now, you mentioned that didn't work one time, but normally that worked, and it worked for you there. Fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight is 20/20. I probably should not have double dipped into that same pocket with the same props. And because I had lots of other props in there, I should have put it in a different pocket. But I was thinking, well, I don't want to be digging around in it. I want to just be able to pop that thing on. It works really well in this venue. But then when I went to California, I got nervous because they changed my title, and then everything all fell apart. So that's what you learn. But thank you. It was a really fun speech. All right. Anything else that anybody wants to talk about? Go ahead, James. Oh, and then David after that.
I thought your exaggeration was outstanding. Earlier on tonight, you said, have something that's possible but not probable. Therefore, every little thing that happened was possible, but when you put it all together, it certainly wasn't probable, but it all just flowed. So I thought that was done really well.
Yeah, again, keeping the possible but not probable in there kind of gives everybody something to hang on to. So that was good. David, thank you very much. David.
Well, Cheryl, first of all, I admire your great, successful 3 to 5 minute speech. I thought it was spectacular. And in a very short time, you included a wide range of Toastmaster skills to my amazement and pleasure. The way you used local information, television shows, The Godfather from a movie, and a narrative that flowed through all that, I thought was an excellent piece of work. Your ability, and if you took 30 minutes to write and then maybe 10 minutes to review it later, to stream through that story with such diversity of settings, of characters and events was spectacular. So I'm just in admiration I have no constructive comments to make. I do agree that your tone of speaking sounds a little bit like New Jersey, really fast, but paying close attention does add to the humor of your presentation. That was a tall tale in my judgment, and thank you.
Thank you. All right. Meg, did you have something else?
Yes, I had a question now. Maybe it doesn't matter. I saw where with your presentation, then the video where you incorporated the things you told us. If you made this speech 5 to 7 minutes, though, I think it would also pass just for a humorous speech. So I guess a little bit, I'm like, what am I missing between just a humorous versus tall tale?
Sharks don't talk to you. Tigers don't drive. There is no one that's going to push you into the gondolier's arms. They don't even sing that song. They sing really, actual arias and things, Italian arias. So there's too many improbable parts of it. The humor parts, if I made it more realistic, yes, that would be definitely a humorous speech. But there's too many things that like, really, that isn't happening. And there is no Star Trek that's going to come and beam me up and take me down. And I'm not going to turn into Elvis, never. Elvis is gone. He's gone home. According to the other things. All right. David, did you have something else or did you forget to put your hand down? Okay. All right, let's go on. But you guys have done an excellent job of deconstructing the speech. There's so many things that you could watch this over and over again. And as you get the recording, if you want to, you're like, oh my God, and then she did that. And oh my God, she did that too. So that was really fun. All right, so this might start again, but I'm just going to go on. Yep. I want to hear you again. All right. So deconstructing the speech. Was there vocal variety? Yes. Were there different characters? And could you tell that there were different characters? Yes. Did I have dialogue? Did I talk to people or did things talk to me? Yeah, I talked to the sharks, talked to the dawn, I talked to the gondolier. Lots of dialogue is really good. You don't want to talk about things. You want to show things. Have it happen in real life so people can get connected to it. Were the gestures effective? For the most part, yes. Did I use props? Yes. Did I have a costume? Yes. In Las Vegas, when it rains really, really heavily. And so you kind of need that big of a slicker with a hood so that you don't actually get totally soaked. So that's probably, that's why I got the big raincoat. And I had to go to a Bass sports shop to go find that thing. So that was kind of fun shopping excursion. Was there a twist at the end? Yes, I became Elvis and nobody expected that because I did a little bit of foreshadowing because I started to talk like him at the very end and then I sang like him. So then he figured it out, but not until that very last second. And highly improbable? Yep, it sure was. Now, here's the thing that I want you to think about. You, each one of you have amazing strengths. Maybe some of you can do crazy character voices like I can. Maybe you have, in your past, you spoke a different language. And so you can speak English with that kind of an accent of that person. Maybe you sing. Maybe you can talk like an alien. I don't know. There's some stuff that you can do. Maybe you can stand up there and do a tap dance and, you know, T for two and two for T. I don't know what I think I will do, you know, or something, whatever it is. And you can use those skills to, I mean, who knows who, you know, if you do yoga, you could be like, okay, and then I put myself into a pretzel and that would be a tall tale. I'd love to see that. That'd be cool. So work to your strengths. Whatever you know you do really, really well, then do that and put that into your speech and it will work to your advantage. Okay, so now how do we write this thing? Because this is what killed me many, many years. I was a Toastmaster for many years. I went to many Tall Tales contests and I went, that is so funny. How did you figure that out? How did you come up with that idea before I finally said, okay, I get it. And I wrote this one. So one of the things, as we always do in any kind of speeches, we're brainstorming. It's like, okay, so here's, a scenario and what could happen right there and what would never happen there. Okay, and can we put those two things together? Oh, and what kind of people might be there? And where would they come from? And so you're just building this huge story that will make it come to life for the audience. You need to have some kind of a problem to solve. So clearly I was trying to lose weight and go on a walk to lose weight. And then I got swept away, and that was my problem. I was out there trying to do something good, but then I got sucked down the street. And then I've got to figure out how do I don't drown, and how can I get home? Create a solution. So mine was getting beamed up by the Star Trek, whatever the thing from the experience. Who are your characters? Where does the story happen? So you got to tell people, maybe it's a time traveling thing. Maybe you need to tell them what time period are you talking about? Where does the story happen, and when does the story? And then adopt an attitude. And that's a humor technique from everybody. They talk about that. Are you mad about this thing that's happening to you? Are you crying about it? Are you whining about it? Are you are you just huffing and puffing about it? And maybe what is your character? Are you an actual adult, or are you telling this story as the perspective of a child? Are you telling this from the perspective of a dog? What is your attitude? And what's the dog's attitude? Maybe he doesn't care, and he's like, oh well, this is what happened. But it makes it all come to life. Okay. Unbelievable adventures. This is a topic that works. You can always start with something normal and reasonable, and then blow it up. Improbable explanations of why things are the way they are. I always think of, why do socks disappear in the laundry? And so that's my creative brain going, I put the laundry in and I put the socks in, and it was a great time. And then the socks went off to Lost Sock Land and they had an adventure. And I'm like, whoa, there you go. That's a great story start for a tall tale. Punny stories. The groaners are okay. This is where you can put them in and nobody will be mad at you because they're expecting it, really. When I talked about the card shark, I'm like, of course there's card sharks in Las Vegas. That was, they probably saw that coming along, somebody started talking about sharks. They're like, oh, and she's going to throw that in there. I know she is, but they laughed anyway. So ha. And reasonable stories with unreasonable elements. So again, you can start with something normal, and then you have to add the exaggeration or the unreasonableness. All right. Develop your comment timing. These are your presentation techniques. If you haven't got it yet in your wheelhouse, now's your chance to build on your timing. You've got to know when to pause, know when to slow down, know when to help that laugh a little bit longer. Like, you can say something funny and then add a facial gesture that makes everybody laugh again. So it's like a ha 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 ha. If you're practicing in person, that's easy to find out. Where is that, and what can you do physically to make it also go? When you're listening to in live, you're hearing that crest, and you don't want to talk until the crest of the laugh goes down a little bit. Not fully, because that'll lose your timing, but partly. So it's ah, and then you can jump in with the next thing. Be shockingly different than yourself. If you're a really vivacious person, like you might have noticed that I probably am, then maybe you come out calm and reserved, and maybe you have a British accent and you talk very carefully about your nanny position of the 3 black cats, or whatever the things that you're doing. And slapstick comedy. If you are willing to throw yourself on the floor, that will work. Sometimes that makes a really laugh. If you want to put a pie in your face, more power to you. Well, that might help. You might enjoy your lunch after that. I don't know, but it does help. What doesn't work is being safe, having blue humor. That's anything naughty that shouldn't, Toastmasters would say, no, no, no. Don't be believable. And watch out for if it's locally humorous and in your district or wherever you're competing, if it's a wider audience or an international audience, sometimes it can be distasteful, disrespectful, or just nobody knows what you're talking about. So you want to make sure that you've either identified what you're talking about and explained it enough so people get it, but even, the more you explain, the less funny it gets. So you want to just do it very gently. How brave are you? Da, 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 da. It's about time for you to put your money where your mouth is. Oh yeah, Kelly's got her hands going, no, no, not me. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do this. I'm scared to death. Ah, I know. I feel you. You can do this. And when we did this the other day in the other district, man, they came up with great things in just a short amount of time. So now it's your turn. I want you to open up that document that I gave you, and I'm going to do that as well. And I'm going to make this go away. So I'm going to stop sharing, then share that other document. So hold on just a second. So find that document that I gave you. I'm going to pull it up myself. There it is. And share again. Only now I don't need to have any sound. There we go. All right, so this is all the things that I've talked to you about. I've given you all your notes. You didn't even have to take any. Aren't you happy? Ms. Baker's done all the job for you. I'm sorry, I'm still in school in my head. So now here at the very end are two different templates that you can use to get yourself started. Now, I give you total permission to change as many weird things that on here that don't go with whatever you're going to come up with a short amount of time that I'm going to give you to work on it. And then this last page is another way to structure it. This is more general and gives you more things that you can just put in here. But this is more like a script. You just have to throw in a couple of things and you're like, oh, dude, I could just say that. And that's about 2 minutes of conversation. Could be almost your entire speech. You just need a little bit more details and that'll be good. So you can choose this one, or if you've got a tall tale that you're already working on, you can try that. And I want you to, I want to have at least a couple of people, maybe 3 or 4. We have about 15 minutes left, I think. I talk too much, I know, but you guys can do it, and we can go a little bit longer if y'all want to run around. So I'm not going anywhere tonight. I've got nothing to do but play with my cats. So, right, I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and whoever's got their hand up first gets to do it. Go. Hope, Rhonda, you're doing one, even if you can't compete.
I am doing one.
Okay. All right, time's almost up. Whatever you got is going to be good enough for today. This is not a finished product. 5 minutes. Yeah, whatever you're going to get is going to be fun and funny. Give you about
Cheryl, just so you know, we did schedule this for 90 minutes until 8:00 p.m. Eastern.
Oh, okay,
So,
great.
so if people can stick around through that duration, you have more time if you need it.
Oh, awesome. Okay, fabulous. Then we can have some time for questions as well. We had a few during the time, but. Oh, 7:30 to 8. Yeah, oh yeah, you're right. Okay. Amazing. All right, who's ready? It's been about 5 minutes. I'm not expecting perfection. You've got an inkling of an idea, it's going to be fun. Take a chance. Remember that slide that said, how brave are you? Now's your chance. What is it? Gerald LaCroix always says, stage time, stage time, stage time. Come on, take the stage. You don't have to have the whole thing. I can see them working diligently, so I'll give them a little bit extra time since we have some time. Okay, I want to hear from you. Let me see who's hiding there. David and Arthur are brave enough to keep their cameras on. Kelly's back. Oh, and she's not crying yet. Come on, Kelly, be the one. You can do it. Start us off. We need an icebreaker. Jacqueline's back. Yeah. Oh, she fell off her chair. No, oh my God. She said, no, no, no. Kelly, you want to break the ice?
I'll try. I couldn't really think of much, but I am going to go for it. It's crazy. It's just the beginning, whatever. Okay, so here it goes. One day I went to the mall when suddenly all the stores were open and there were blinking lights that said, "What? Free? What do you mean free?" I was so shocked. I looked around for security guards, police officers, or broken glass. So I went into Lord and Taylor and I looked around for someone to help, but there was no one there. This is weird. Then I gathered an armful of gear, bags, blouses, hats, watch, socks, you name it. But when I did all this, I heard sirens and saw red and blue flashing lights, and oh, I ran so fast, I slipped on the floor and I don't know what happened after that. Finally, I gathered myself up and walked over to the blaring lights. Bam. That's all I got.
Yeah, all right. You are definitely the shopper girl then, for sure, on this one. You knew the stores, you knew where they were in the mall, and where to go for the good stuff, the watches and all that good stuff. I would have probably looked for the shoes because they are really expensive at Lord and Taylor's. I'm quite sure. Yeah. So good. So, and yeah, now then there probably is going to be somebody coming up to you and telling you more information, have some dialogue in there. That would be a great story. I would love to hear the rest of that story because that would be fun. I want to go to that mall. Wouldn't that be fun? That'd be great fun. Great fun. All right, give her a hand. She was fabulous. Thank you very much for being our first one. Okay, let me see. Juanita, are you my girl? Oh, yeah. Come on, you got something up there. I know you do.
I am not what I consider a funny person. And so I just got stuck like, what should I talk about? And I didn't get anywhere yet. So Kelly, that was just great. It really was. But I'm going to keep practicing. I'm not very brave today.
Okay, all right. Don't cry yet. You know, one of the funniest things about people who say that they're not funny, that in itself is funny. You could lead with that. You know, I'm not funny. But here's a funny thing that happened to me the other day. That could be the start. That could be the start. Yeah. My sister tells me she's not funny, and I laugh at her all the time. She is.
And I knew you would not call on me. I just knew that. It felt like table topics. Like,
yeah, well, it is kind of. And this
like
is
hide behind there.
That's right.
Thank
all right,
you.
You're welcome. Thank you for at least talking about it. So that's good. You know, we're in that process. So, you know, maybe we need 2 heads are better than one. We could jump right into some breakout rooms and say, what do you think? Here's what I got. I need some help. Joan's got her hand up. Go, Joan. Go, Joan. Unmute, though. Can't hear you. There she goes.
All right, I'm going to try this, but I know this is not going to be great.
We don't expect it to be. It's just the beginning.
Anybody who knows me knows that I go on vacation with my family all the time. I plan everything out to the minute detail. So we go on vacation. We're going to Tennessee. I checked the weather before we left. Nothing in the forecast. Gorgeous weather. Beautiful, perfect skies. We're driving. It's a 10-hour drive. As a family, we're having a good time. But to tell you the truth, we argue a lot. So we're going along. We're driving. This cloud is following us. Oh my God. The cloud's getting darker. Oh no. I hope that's not a tornado. It's coming in our direction. Let's see if we can get to the hotel. We're rushing. We're going really fast. We're going to get there. We get to the hotel. There's a sign on the door. It says, wait to shelter. Shelter! Where the heck is that?
story is, irregardless of the weather, you can never predict what the weather is going to be. Those weathermen, they can't tell you anything. So be careful. And that's all I got, really.
There you go. There you go. So I thought you were going straight into that Nope movie. You know how I don't know if y'all saw that. There was this, it's a Night Shyamalan movie, and the cloud, it's an alien, and it comes in and sucks people up. I was sure that cloud was going to come and get you and take you somewhere else. And that would be funny. That would be really funny. Not being an alien, probably just be a cloud, and then, or even a tornado, and then take you off like the Wizard of Oz or something, which also would work as well, you know. And maybe that will take you to the worst place you could take your family on a vacation, you know, just some little shack out in the middle of the desert or somewhere or something like that. Go to Death Valley Days, into the golf course of the devil or something like that. That would be fun. So that would be a twist. And then of course, you know, you'd have to come back and something else would happen. But that would be the beginning. So more unreasonableness would happen as you're working on that thing, but that was a good start. So excellent. Give her a big hand. Yay, Joe, for being brave. Yeah. All right, gentlemen, the ladies have got it. You're going to step up to the plate. Come on, y'all. Arthur, David, somebody else down here who's hiding with their videos.
I got something
off.
brewing, but I don't want to share. I don't want to spoil it.
Oh. David, you got something that you could share?
I'm afraid my mind is not as quick as you demonstrated tonight, Cheryl. I was not prepared for that, but I'm studying what you said, and I hope to look at the video 17 more times.
17 more times.
Again, I don't think tonight I have the speed of going through a narrative as carefully as you did, with such diversity and variety, both in the story, the people, the tone, the gestures. I'm still overwhelmed by that, so I'm sorry. I can't compete tonight.
No, that's okay. We're not competing. We're just kind of talking about the stories. And again, we're not expecting perfection. This is just the beginning of an idea that you maybe could use as a kernel for your Tall Tales competition. Denise, what do you think? You got it? I found you. I saw you. You're looking, you're nodding. What idea did you come up with?
Actually, I do not have any. I've been thinking, so I can try to throw something together real quick.
Yeah, people topic.
Hey, this is totally off the top of my head. All right. So I'm laying in bed, and it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm about to get up, but I'm tired. Now, I don't sleep in bed by myself. Oh no, I have Cyrus. Cyrus is my pit bull king horser. He's about 110 pounds. Now, this is my soulmate. I wake up and I hear a noise. I'm like, Cyrus, and did you hear that? Cyrus looks at me. No, I'm tired. I didn't hear nothing. Get up and see what's going on. Okay. He rolls out of bed. He opens the door. The door won't open. He scratches it and scratches it. Then all of a sudden, Alexa. Yes, can I help you? Alexa, open the door. What's going on? Alexa, all of a sudden, whammo jammo. The door opens up, but it doesn't open up. There's a portal. And the portal has a bright light that's sucking and coming inside of the room. Cyrus is like, looking at me. I'm looking at him. I'm like, Cyrus, what do you think? He's like, okay, I'll go as you go. I get up, but as I'm standing up, I'm not walking on the floor. I'm levitating. What's going on? I'm in my room, I'm levitating, I'm rocking back and forth. Cyrus is looking at me. He's like, Mom, go go through the portal, we're no longer in our house. Like, this is where I jog at. Yes. So we're in the park. It's dark. We're running down the street, and all of a sudden, from nowhere. Well, I'm looking at the dog. Do you see that? No? Like, if you see that, right? Hello there. Can I help you? The set to go on. And I'm awake. Cyrus is still sleeping at the back of his bed. But when I look down, I see pink footprints. Wow. Okay, that's it.
If you said that speech, even just like that, raw like that, you would win most of the contests. That was amazing. Your dog was doing something dogs don't do. He was talking. And then you had crazy things that happened in your house and the dog wouldn't go. That was pretty funny, actually. You know, you could have him say, I'm not going. You just get out there. You're the watchdog, for God's sake, you know, and that would be really funny. Yeah. So I missed a little bit of the volume or the speech on you. I don't know if it was your connection or mine, but did everybody else hear it all the way straight through? No? Okay. So we missed a little bit, but your facial expressions were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. That was great. All right, Carol, next one up. I can't hear, unmute. Unmute.
How to say something so that people will hear you. I went to the Phillies game. I had my shirt on. Very avid Phillies fan here. And I went with my two best friends. I went with Patrick and Natalie. And we went and sat on regular seats. And I was just so happy. And I said, and all of a sudden, I realized that there were Mets fans on this side, on that side, and right in front of me, there was a man 5 rows in front of me saying, "Go Mets, go, go Mets, go." So every time he went, "Go Mets, go," I went, "Go Mets, go. Go Mets, go." So I was going crazy there. And I looked at my friend Patrick and I said, "Patrick, how are you feeling?" "Oh, I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this game. It's so good. It's so good." He's 6'4" and stretched out. My girlfriend Natalie sitting over here, I said, "Natalie, these fans are so rude. These fans are so rude." And all of a sudden, I hear somebody calling Natalie in the back of me. Who's that? Who's that? Here's my nephew and his wife. And I said, "Oh, there's Lisa and Carrie. Hi." I said, "Natalie, let's go over and talk to him." So we headed over. And Lisa was really friendly, but Carrie sat there like a bump on the log, barely acknowledged me. And I thought, and he said, "There's people trying to get in this row." So I went back and I sat down. I thought, Carrie acted really terrible. Why was he so unfriendly? And then I thought to myself, was the fact that I was going like this really upsetting him? And then I said, was the game that important that I had to react like that? What is going on? People are just here to enjoy the game. Why do I have to get so upset? by what this guy in front of me is saying. So we sat there for a while and just so horrible, because the Mets were winning and the Phillies were losing. And it's like, what's going on? Go, Schreiber, go! Go, Schreiber, go! Bring him home! Bring him home! And I'm looking around and there's nobody else saying it really anything because this is all a Met section. And I was really supporting the Phillies. And, and then I just thought about it later and I just realized, hey, maybe that's not the way to make friends and influence people. And later, my nephew said, did you realize, he came over and talked to me, he said, did you realize that that was the Mets section? I said, no. So, que sera, sera.
There you go. All right, so it could use a few more exaggerated elements, some improbable things that would happen. Yeah, there's probably not very many people that were that tall. Obviously, you were in the wrong section, but it doesn't sound like there was any section was the right section. Everybody was the other team, so that's really weird. There was no section for you to be in. So yeah, so continue to work on those improbable parts of that. That's a good start. So great job in 10 minutes. Fantastic.
And I think I just wanted to say, because the Phillies now are in the playoff and the Mets didn't make it. So that's why I had to share it tonight.
All right. Well, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Who else wants to? Ken, you got your, I see your face. Oh, I see Meg's got a hand up. Go, Meg. Are you just clapping though? Oh, I think she's clapping.
Just
right.
clapping.
Okay. I misread the icon there. Ken, you got a piece of a story that you could share with us?
Yes and no. I'm in the same basket as Art. I don't want to tip my hand right now, but I do have a question for you, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Can we get a copy of the PowerPoint that you displayed earlier? I only see the word in the chat.
I possibly could do that. I don't know if it's too long because it has the video clip in it, so it may be problematic, but I could take the video clip out and certainly do that. You're going to get the recording of this, so you could still see it. So you could do that. Yeah.
Because I wrote my tall tale. Oh, geez, it must have been 2 years ago. When we were first starting to think about doing this. And the information you have in there is excellent. I'll be able to punch it up nicely. So I'd like to have that as a reminder. I was trying to take screenshots, but for some reason I couldn't do it under Zoom.
Yeah. Rhonda, can I send it to you? And then could you send it to the people who registered?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you muchly. Thanks for being here today.
Or where will this recording of this presentation be put?
On our YouTube channel, which is our central repository for all videos.
Oh, all right. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. If no one else wants to go, then we have just a few more minutes, and I'd love to answer any questions or have you, talk about any successes or failures that you've had and what did you learn from it? Some lessons learned.
Well, Cheryl, I'd just like to say this, Juanita, that you have encouraged me for the years that every time the tall tales came about, I just ignored it. And I wasn't brave enough to even find out more about it. But when I saw this year that tall tales and you were going to be doing this training, and since my club, Mainline Speaks, just celebrated its 10th anniversary last night, we were very excited, and 3 years of being presidents distinguished. So I have to be a leader and show our young members and our growing members about the contest. So I'm going to have to really step up and give a whirl with this tall tales. So thank you so much.
You're totally welcome. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it took me a long time just to figure out how to write one. And once I figured it out, then it was like, oh, this is easy. I could do this. This is not a big deal. I mean, it's again, just taking that normal story and then blowing it up. completely. I mean, a lot of people use tall tales for like alien stories and things of that sort, which is fine. Some I've seen really very successful ones about the fish that got away. It was this big, really was only this big, but it was this big when I was catching it. And that was, you know, quite a fight. So those are kind of things. I mean, my very first tall tale was terrible. Let me tell you, I did not win. I thought about how could I get out of the room without anybody yelling at me, and could I drive home? And no, I didn't have the keys, rats. And I wanted to go. I had a poem that I decided I was going to try. Had a great costume, couldn't remember my speech to save my soul. It was the most embarrassing thing, but you know, I lived to tell the tale, and I can do it next. So, you know, we all have to go through that one time of, oh my gosh, I don't know if it's gonna fly or not. It was a concept, but then so. You saw my picture at the beginning. That was my last one that I tried. We had tall tales in our district a couple years ago. Nobody wanted to try it again. I taught everybody how to do it over here, and they all went, oh. Some of them were really fun, and some of them were really funny and not so funny. And mine was about the same kind of thing, a trip to Washington, D.C., which is really close to my city. I live in Ashburn, Virginia. So, and then I figured out that it was a joke, and so I had to use the neuralizer to neuralize everybody, so they forgot about the speech. Therefore, the judges forgot about the speech, and I did not win. So. Any other questions? How do you come up with it? What's too much? I, in fact, went and did a little bit of research before doing these Tall Tales workshops again this year about the different parts of speech that they talk about. Alliteration, of course, is the easiest one, I think. And that's the putting the same letter in multiple words in a row. That's the easy one to kind of put together, as long as you can make sense of what you're putting it together. Irony, of course, is to make it kind of like unbelievable, put two things together there, like the example that was in there. Metaphors like similes, you know, putting those things in there, anything that'll punch up your language. We tend to forget about those things in our speaking, and we only do it in our writing because you kind of think about them and mull them over and do those things. So, and that really helps to, I guess people call it wordsmithing. In Toastmasters, you wordsmith your speech to make it be even that cooler and add that in there. A good prop can make the difference between winning and not winning sometimes. Even just enthusiasm can sometimes help you win, just if you know, have a lot of energy in there and trying to say something kind of funny. That will help a little bit too. All right, Annie, Anne, haven't heard anything for you. Marisol, Ruth, you guys have any questions? Have I blown your mind and you can't think anymore?
No, you did a very excellent job, so that's why I don't have any questions.
Oh, well, I'm so perfect. Yeah, go ahead, Anne, thanks. You gotta unmute.
That would help. Is it really that important to have a costume?
No, you could just wear normal things and do you know, whatever you do with your vocal variety and all the rest of that. I mean, if
you think it really adds to the speech or sways the judge?
It makes it funnier if it's appropriate. I've seen people dress up like Pippi Longstockings and put their hair up and put little funny, you know, little fake freckles on them. I saw one guy in his Tall Tales. He dressed up like the president. That was a normal dressing up for him. He kind of looked like Obama, but he wore suspenders, and he was really great. And his speech was really, really well done. So it wasn't much of a costume, but it was a little bit, so it can kind of give you the idea. So you don't
Okay.
have to get outlandish, spend $1 million to do the things. There was this one gal, I forgot to tell you guys this story. There's this one gal, this was in Las Vegas, and she had false teeth. And she grew up in New Orleans, and she took her teeth out and dressed as if she was in the bayou, and she spoke in a bayou language, and her tall tales was hilarious. Talk about being brave. If I had false teeth, I would not be taking them out to go talk to people on a stage. Are you kidding me? No. But that was really funny, and she was really brave, and she won. So depending on how brave you are, things like that really can make the difference. Arthur and Ken, you must be going to be participating in the contest, and that's why you're not telling us your fabulous idea.
My facial reactions have not been in response to the speakers this evening. It's just that I am typing galore here and coming up with a wonderful idea. I probably could share it because, as Ken knows, since we're in the same club together, I am an area director, and thus I am prohibited from competing beyond the club level. But Ken's advice was, go ahead and do it. You'll still lose, but just go ahead and do it. And I just might.
That'd be fun if you want to share even part of it, and don't tell us the twist. That might be, make sure that you maintain your edge.
I don't have a twist yet. I didn't get that far, but I have lots of body, shall we say.
Well, if you want to, we still have time.
All right, I'll give it a go.
Okay. Yay!
It's concert season and I'm raring to go. Yes, Pink Floyd, Paul McCartney, all my favorite bands are coming to the local venues, and I've purchased tickets for all 50 shows. I even found my concert t-shirts from the past shows that I can wear. Ready for action. Whoops. Maybe I should have checked those dates before I bought all those tickets. I'd have the tickets. Because I just noticed that Pink Floyd are playing the same night as Paul. No. Yes. Huh? Yes, they're at the theater in Philadelphia tonight, but I also have tickets tonight for John Lodge, the bassist from the Moody Blues in Sellersville. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Maybe to all these concerts you shall not. Arthur, I agree with the Yoda voice in your head. Your plans are doomed. Being a fan of Mike and the Mechanics, a potential solution comes to mind. All I need is a miracle. All I need is you. Yeah, that's what I need, all right. But it's time to hit the rock road and savor the sounds. My friend who's going to the concert with me asks, hey, Arturo, man, you loco? How are we going to be in Philly and Sellersville at the same time? My confident answer, hey, mi muchacho. If we take the R5 train from Glenside back to Colmar and hop in mi coche, we can get from the Yes Show to the Moody Blues with mucho tiempo to spare. Who am I kidding? Ding, ding, ding. Ha-ha. I'm an engineer, and it's in my logical nature to find solutions. Try this logical solution on for size. I'm going to call my friend Sheila and ask to borrow the Harry Potter Turn Back Time Charm from her collection. Time schmime! I'll watch the Yes concert, use the charm, and make it to the Sellersville with plenty of time to spare to grab a brewski. And in conclusion, well, this is not how I'll say it, but the charm was a charm. To every concert, turn, turn, turn. Rock on, muchacho.
Yay! Awesome. There you go. I see you were a fellow musician. There's my musician. It's full of paperwork over there, but yeah, we've got one of those here too. I play too. Well, fabulous. That's a good start, and you've got just a little bit of tweaking to do and memorize the thing. Add some body movements. You're good to go. I don't know. I wonder how you would. Maybe you'd have to have all those T-shirts underneath and then take them off one at a time.
I thought about that, but I wasn't sure how feasible it would be to pull one off at a time and not have them all come up. That's in my notes as a prop thing.
You could Velcro them on underneath and then that's an
Maybe.
old shirt
Yeah, I'm gonna
trick.
grab my tickets out from the past and have a whole bunch of tickets as a prop too.
Great idea. All right, Ken. Arthur went.
He and I might be competing together at our local IPT contest, in-person toasting.
Oh, he's like, I don't
Ken
want.
will never speak.
No, you're the area director. You don't get to compete.
Oh.
At the club level, I think I can, can't I?
Well, you know, I'm also in a club in Division C. I'm the immediate past president of Positively Charged. So I can go compete over there.
Oh, there
Oh,
you
you don't like the competition in your club?
go. Well, we have a club here in Northern Virginia called Winner's Circle, and we invite all the people who are competing to come to our club, not so that we can find out what their speech is all about, but so that we can help and coach them to be the best that they can possibly be. And we've competed against each other and at friends with people that we've coached. And darn it, my husband found out that he coached somebody so good she beat him in a contest. He was very sad. But, you know, we think, you know, well, we're just trying to raise the bar for everyone. So it's kind of good to give a chance and let somebody hear what you've got already thought of, and use those abilities with the other coaches and the ears in the room. So that's it. All right, we have like 5 minutes. I'm going to turn it back to Rhonda, and I appreciate the chance to come and speak to you this evening, and I hope and I know that you're going to be able to take this on and be the greatest Tall Tales winners in the world.
Nice job, Cheryl.
Thank you so very much. I can't thank you enough. I'm glad to see we're giving her a round of applause. Before I close this out, I do want to give deference to our district director, Paula. Paula, do you have any words?
I just wanted to say thank you to Cheryl. It was very informative. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your tips. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to compete. Otherwise, I'd beat even Ken, I believe. No, not likely. But congratulations good luck to all of those who are planning to compete. I hope that you learned some valuable tips from Cheryl. And again, kudos to Rhonda for arranging for the training. Good luck, and I look forward to seeing everybody compete this year.
Thanks, Paula. Again, I can't thank Cheryl enough. I was on a meeting with my peer PQDs within Region 7, and one of the PQDs said, I have the perfect person to present Tall Tales. And I know we as a district haven't conducted a Tall Tales contest in some time, is my recollection. So I thought this was a great way to literally stretch our skills and hyperbole and exaggeration, and especially that improbable nature. I'm looking forward to our contest season, which is following what we've done in the past. So club contests should be held in January or no later than the end of January. The area contest will happen in February, division in March, and district at the district contest in or around the district contest, which I'm targeting April as soon as I can solidify the venue. But we're looking for an April date for that. So let's keep that in mind as we go forward. I know there was a question about the format of the contest that will be decided during our DEC meeting this coming Saturday, where the DEC Council, we will get together and we'll decide on the area, division, and district levels, given the guidance from Toastmasters International. Again, the clubs can decide their format for their contests themselves. So more information to come. Are there any final questions before we conclude today's session or comments? Hearing none, thank you all very much for spending this 90 minutes with us on a Tuesday. I hope you all have a great evening and a productive week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saturday.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank
See
you.
Saturday.
Tall tales.
Cheryl, again,
Thank you.
many thanks to you.